Guys, I think a lot of people, look and listen for guidance in the wrong places. When someone is trying to tell you something, or someone is looking to give you advice, of course listen to them, but understand who you're listening to. Because I've noticed a lot of the time that when someone tries to give me advice, the only thing I can think in my head is who I'm listening to and where they are. A lot of the time, people listen to others that are not in a position to tell you what you need to be doing. And the only way to judge that is literally to look at their life. Now, if you know that somebody isn't 100% happy with what they do, that's like their job, just what they do on a day-to-day basis, their mindset. If you can sit back and understand that person is not exactly happy with who they are, how could you listen to them to tell you what you should be doing? I think a lot of people fall into this trap of looking for guidance in the wrong places. People underestimate the power of what going within could tell you. If you can go within and sort of ask yourself what you want to do, how you feel, and where you'd like to go, you don't need to look at all these outside sources. Because a lot of the time, these outside sources are just, it's like, what are you going to tell me? What are you going to tell me that either I don't already know, or is just really bad advice? You got people that have been working the same job, and there's nothing wrong with working the same job, but if you don't even necessarily like your job, and you've been working that same job for years and years, it's hard for me to listen to you. Very hard. It's hard for me to take someone serious who doesn't really seem to take themselves serious. I mean, I'm sure that makes sense. You can always tell when someone's happy with their life. Always. Doesn't matter if they work the same job for 30 years, or they've switched jobs every year, or they hang out with a bunch of people, or they have no friends. You can always tell when someone is in the right place as an individual. They don't look for outside validation. They don't look to outside sources for any information, because they know how to go within and they're internally happy. So when you have these sort of people that aren't internally happy, and you can tell, please be careful with the information that you take from them. Please. Because a lot of the time you're taking information from a person who doesn't even necessarily love themselves to the fullest extent. I think this is really important now that I think about it. A lot of people, we could be influenced really easily. I've been influenced in my life. And a lot of people are naive. And they do not know how to think for themselves. So just remember, when someone's trying to tell you something, and they're trying to give you advice, you have to understand where it's coming from. And you have to look at that person's life and say, is this person in a position to give me advice? Because if not, you have to go somewhere else. And do not be afraid to go within. Please do not be afraid to go within. Oh, I'm about to get ran over. Oh. A lot of the time, the answers can lie deep within yourself. So, take the time. Take the time to ask yourself these questions. When you're lost, confused, take the time to ask yourself. Or take the time to ask someone that you actually trust. And of course, always ask God. He will tell you. He will give you the answers eventually. But just please be careful with who you get advice from. You have to understand who you're talking to all the time. Because a lot of the time people do think that they know what's best for you. That's what they think. When in reality, the only person that knows what's best for you is you. All right, guys? So that's all I got to say. Go within.